again inflict a crisis on the country. By Tuesday, President Trump and Democratic leaders must reach an agreement to avoid what could be a prolonged and painful shutdown of the entire federal government that would impact millions of Americans. Democrats, aghast at what they see as a lawless president, are demanding significant policy changes on health care in exchange for their votes in the Senate. Trump, who has spent the last 8 months in office doing seemingly whatever he wants, including a norm-shattering retribution campaign against political foes that has only intensified in recent days, wants a straight extension of government funding for 7 weeks. And late last night, news broke of a last-ditch meeting between the president and the top 4 congressional leaders at the White House on Monday, the first of this term. So will we see a president who often boasts about his deal-making skills show some compromise with Democrats? Or will it devolve into an ugly clash like it did in 2018?
And the experts say you can do border security without a wall, which is wasteful and doesn't solve the problem.
It totally solves the problem. And it's very important.
This has spiraled downward when we came at a place to say, how do we meet the needs of American people who have needs?
I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down. And I'm going to shut it down for border security.
But we believe you.
Goddamn, get off my diesel. Damn. Get off my diesel. Goddamn, get off my diesel. Damn. Get off my diesel. Damn. Damn. Diesel. Damn. Damn. Diesel. Damn. Damn.
Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host, the conservative libertarian here. And yes, sir, we're back with another video, man. Today, we got Mr. Speaker Johnson. Speaker Johnson. And in today's video, we got him speaking on whether or not the Democrats and Republicans are really going to come together and actually come to a solution on this CR. It's just the Senate where it's a little funky that they have to deal with the Democratic Party and having to deal with them and their pushback to everything that the Republicans are trying to do. This is a pretty clean slate CR. It's nothing that they're changing, nothing that they're trying to do really, you know what I'm saying? Because the big beautiful bill already got passed, so there's nothing that they really needed to do. Only thing they really need to do is just keep the government open. But the Democrats want to add a whole bunch of nonsense to the bill. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Let's do it. Let's go.
Joining us now, House Speaker Mike Johnson, Republican of Louisiana. Mr. Speaker, good to see you. Let's start with the shutdown talks. A few days ago, President Trump rejected even meeting with Democratic leaders, reportedly at the urging of you and the Senate Majority Leader John Thune. What changed?
Well, I had a long talk with the president yesterday, Jake, and, you know, he feels the same way that I do about this. He's always open to discussion, but he wants to operate in good faith. So he decided to bring us all in. He wants to talk with Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and just try to convince them to follow common sense and do what's right by the American people. Jake, it's important to point out the only thing we are trying to do is buy a little time. You know, the appropriators in both parties have been working very diligently over the last many weeks to work through the appropriations process. As you know, the law requires us to pass 12 separate appropriations bills and to be good stewards of American taxpayers' dollars. But that hasn't happened. It usually doesn't happen in Washington. Everything gets pushed to the end of the year right before Christmas, and there's a giant omnibus spending bill. Since I became Speaker, I've been trying to force back the muscle memory to force Congress to do its work, and we're doing it. Jake, I'm delighted to tell you, in a bipartisan fashion, the appropriators have worked through 12 separate appropriations bills in the House committee. 3 are passed off the floor in the House. 3 passed off the Senate floor. Those bills don't match up exactly, so there's a conference committee between 2 chambers working as they're supposed to for the first time since 2019. But here's the problem. We run out of clock, because the end of this September 30th is the end of the fiscal year. So what we did was a simple, clean, continuing resolution. It's 24 pages in length. All it does is keep the government open so appropriators can continue to do this work. Together, bipartisan, Chuck Schumer came back with a long laundry list of partisan demands that don't fit into this process, and he's going to try to shut the government down. The president wants to talk with him about that and say, please, don't do that.
So at this meeting tomorrow, is President Trump looking to make a deal, or is it going to be like when Michael Corleone met Senator Geary? My offer is this: nothing.
Well, look, we'll have to see, but I can tell you where his head and his heart are. He wants to do right by the people. He does not want the Democrats to hold up troops pay. You know, the people who are serving in the military, they don't get paid during the shutdown. He doesn't want WIC funding, you know, women, infants, and children nutrition program being held up. He doesn't want telehealth and mental health and FEMA services to be stopped. That's what Chuck Schumer is holding hostage. Why? So that he can add $1.5 trillion in new spending at a time when we're simply just trying to keep the government going for 7 weeks so we can have those debates. It's wrong. He also wants to, by the way, what Chuck Schumer is demanding in exchange for all those good things I just listed, he wants to reinstate free health care for illegal aliens paid by American taxpayers. We're not doing that. We can't do that. That's just one of the crazy things he's requested.
Well, I think he would take issue with that. Here is what House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries said on CNN Friday night about what he says Democrats are asking for, which is the continuing of the Obamacare subsidies being extended to American citizens only to prevent more than 1 million of those Americans joining the ranks of the uninsured. I'd like to hear your response. This is what Jeffrey said.
And all we're saying is let's find a path forward to actually fix the healthcare system that Republicans have broken for the good of everyone. They dropped this reckless partisan bill that continues to gut the healthcare of the American people, and it went down in flames. And so their bill is dead on arrival.
Is that demand for continuing the Obamacare subsidies, is that even on the table tomorrow?
Regardless if it's on the table or not, I don't think we need all that. Like, we don't need to add in all this extra spending because, like, the Democrats were just complaining earlier with the big beautiful bill that big beautiful bill is going to add trillions of dollars to the debt over the next 10 years. So now we want to add more money to the debt because of what? Just so we can give healthcare out to more people. I truly have not heard of anybody significantly of elderly age, people, mothers, you know what I'm saying, people who really need it, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I have a family, so I know for a fact, because I have not experienced this yet. Now, when the big beautiful bill comes around and it takes away those things, then we're gonna see what actually happens. Because, like I said, I'm not the one with the fear mongering. Okay, I don't like that. I need to see actual proof. People love to do hearsay, but hearsay doesn't even hold up in court. So we'll have to see what actually happens. But for them to try to hold up the government hostage just because over just one bill, like, pass it and continue to fight Trump on a different matter. Not this. This is a dumb one.
Look, that statement by my friend Hakeem is absolutely absurd. There is nothing partisan about this continuing resolution. Nothing. We didn't add a single partisan priority or policy writer at all. We're operating completely in good faith to give more time. The only thing that would gut health care, using his own phraseology there, is if we took Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer's demand here, because they want to cut $50 billion from rural hospitals. That's the new fund that we added in the big, beautiful bill, the Working Families Tax Cuts that we passed just a couple months ago. They want to gut that. They also want to hold up all this funding that I listed. I mean, the WIC program is something that we all champion for women, infants, and children nutrition. That would be held up. So it's exactly the opposite of what Hakeem is talking about. The Obamacare subsidies is a policy debate that has to be determined by the end of the year, December 30th, not right now, while we're simply trying to keep the government open so we can have all these debates.
So just as a point of fact, it's against the law for non-citizens to get those subsidies. And if they expire, Americans' premiums could jump as much as 75%, some experts say, and consumers could start viewing those higher premiums as soon as October. Are you not worried at all that those people might blame Republicans for those health care costs, for the insurance costs going up?
No, they're not being truthful about that, Jake. The program doesn't expire until the end of December, so we have time to have all those discussions and debates. But yes, it is illegal for illegal aliens to receive health care paid for by hardworking American taxpayers. But they're making the demand to change that. They want to add that back in. That's one of Chuck Schumer's primary demands, to keep the government open, and we're not going to do that. The American people didn't vote for us to do that. We're trying to clean up the system. So what they're demanding, they know is outrageous. They know it's far beyond the pale. And look, I challenge anybody listening to us, Jake, go pull this up. You will see there is nothing partisan in what we have passed and presented to the Senate.
I love this. I love how he emphasized the fact that illegal immigrants can't get health care because they're not legal citizens. Excuse me, Jake Tapper, you obviously don't know that illegal immigrants are getting a whole lot of shit. They're getting driver's license, they're getting social security card numbers, they're even becoming superintendents of a school. They're even able to do that. How is that possible? Huh?
Where the Des Moines Public Schools superintendent has been detained by federal immigration officials. CBS News' Lana Zak is tracking this story from Iowa City. She joins us now with more. Lana, great to see you. What all do we know about the superintendent? What are ICE officials saying about his arrest?
Meg, this is definitely a shock that Des Moines is still trying to come to terms with. And we saw the officials from Des Moines City Schools really invoke what they heard from Dr. Roberts' own teachings about empathy, about trying to withhold judgment. And they said that they still, while new information has come to light, that they're still reserving judgment until they are able to independently verify what we have heard from law enforcement officials. They say that they apprehended in a targeted action earlier today Dr. Ian Roberts, who has been the superintendent of Des Moines schools since 2003. And they tried to stop him in his school vehicle. He fled law enforcement at that point. They later found the abandoned vehicle, and they found inside that vehicle a handgun, which was loaded, they said, along with cash and some other items that they're looking at as part of their investigation. The reason why all of this is confounding people here is he was a beloved educator. He had become the superintendent of Des Moines schools back in 2003. He's from Guyana. He had come over here legally on a student visa back in 1999, but that visa he overstayed, so his status was no longer legal, and then that gun possession charge that he previously had, which law enforcement referred back to, that's because as somebody without legal status in the United States, it is illegal to possess a firearm of any sort. So that's why he was arrested, and he has been facing deportation.
All right, Lana Zak, with all those new details, thank you.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, this stuff it's so silly. This is so silly. The Democrats are even trying to hold this up and make this into a big freaking fight over, oh, we need to give back health care to the American citizens. Like I said, I have not heard one person complain about the healthcare system. Now, have I heard of a lot of hospitals being shut down? I think a lot of hospitals are just getting shut down because there's not a lot of business being happening at that hospital. Those businesses in areas that don't tend to need those services in that area, or they might go somewhere else. They don't have a problem driving an extra 15 minutes to go handle their business to get what they want, then there's no need for that to be there. So like, that's all I'm saying. Like, this is, once again, this is political theater. We're doing this for what? Just pass it, keep pushing, and we'll find a different you can fight him on a different fight. You can fight a different matter, but there is nothing partisan about the bill right now. I've even looked it up. Nothing's partisan about it, and to have the government shut down, which is going to hurt a lot of Americans, and then the only person they're going to be able to blame is the Democrat Party. So I'm just saying that they folded last time when it came to the continuing resolution. You might as well just fold now, because like I said, you're doing this fight right now. This fight that you're doing makes you look really bad, especially if you fold. That's all I'm saying. But hey, let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Like the video as well. Yeah, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Peace.